Hey guys, and welcome back to the Chaotic Kids channel, where I, Michelle, document my life here on YouTube as I try to become a full-time author while also traversing the world with multiple personalities. If that sounds interesting to you, stick around. But today, we are going to be talking more about my spiritual life and kind of doing a wrap-up of 2025 and going into 2026, some goals that I have. So if this interests you, stick around. If not, you can go ahead and click off. I'm not going to be offended. This is more of a video for myself just because I want to kind of commit to myself being like, this is what I want for my future. And like I said, this is going to be more Catholic based, so if you want to stick around, go ahead. If not, I'm okay with that. But yeah, let's get into it. Hey guys, so in 2025, I feel like I have definitely had a much more spiritual awakening to what I want in my life. So this kind of started with working more on Grace's book. I think you guys should know, but like Grace's book is a Catholic fiction book. Well, Christian fiction, but it is leaning more towards the Catholic faith rather than just Christianity. And I've really been like being like, I want to expand my life. And, I had for a little bit, the thought of becoming a nun or a sister somehow, like becoming a nun or a sister. I learned that's more of one of my altars and goals, rather than my end goal, because all I want to do is write books. But if in the future I do want to go down that path, I would like to have a head start rather than just be like, jumping into it kind of thing. Which I'm pretty sure that's not how you become a nun. But it's just a thought that we had. But yeah, so we were born and raised Catholic. We fell off of, we were really good early childhood and a good portion of our high school career. We always went to church every Saturday. We would serve in Mass. But there got to be a point where we knew that we were changing. Just because everyone changes at some point in their life, but also we were learning that we were coming to the realization that we were multiple. Some of us in our system had always known, but the host at the time, which was Michelle, didn't know that we were a multiple. She was just going through the actions of being like, oh, this is normal life. This is what everyone feels like. And that kind of all came to head whenever we had this moment in spiritual, in our religion. Not necessarily in the religion, but we had this moment where we very vividly remember seeing this spiritual entity that reminded us of our great grandpa. Now, we have never met our great grandpa. He died a little bit after my younger brother passed away. Was born. My younger brother is 4, almost 5 years older than me. So, you can thank that. And he died, I think at 89, And, me and my mom never really talked about him. We talked about him every once in a while, but, I could very vividly remember seeing this man who looked like my brother, just a lot shorter, and he always had, this smoke around him. And I asked my mom, I was like, do you know, I need to know who this guy is, because he keeps repeating the words, tiger, 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 tiger to me. And, my mom was didn't understand, because she is I don't know what to tell you, she was also I think my daughter's crazy. And that was also the time where I was, she learned that I was suicidal. So it was just all came to head, and I was just I need to figure out who this tiger, tiger, tiger person was. And I was looking around the house one day at the pictures that we had on the wall, and I saw the picture of the man, and I was like, that man right there, who is that? And I think I remember Mom telling me, or remembering from my childhood being oh, that's your grandpa, your great grandpa, and I was like, that's who I saw. And Mom was like, well, I guess that made sense, because Tiger is what he called my oldest brother. And as I don't know what he was meaning by it whenever he said it. But I feel like he was telling me my brother Tiger, my brother whose nickname was Tiger, was going to be a very crucial thing in my life because I was really struggling with just who I was and how to regulate my emotions. And my brother, as I am now 25 after 6 years of being out of high school, like I've learned that he is so vital to me and to everything that I stand for. Or not to who I stand for, but like everything that, like, he is my coping skill. Like if I'm in trouble, I will go to him first. I will go to my sister, but when I need the actual, like, not necessarily when I need the actual comfort, I'll go to her. But he's like the grounding sense, like the grounding person in my world, if that makes sense. And like, he is such a jokey person, but he is the person that I go to most in times of need because, like, I lived with him for 3 years, and it was just like he understood me when no one else understood me. Like, he saw me in my darkest. He saw me in some of the great days. But he saw me, and he saw all of me, like every part of me he saw, and he saw them before I saw them, if that makes sense. So like before I realized that I was a multiple, he knew that I was a multiple, and like my dad knew about it too. But I don't know. I am close with my dad. It's just not nearly as close as I am with my brother because like I hide who I am with my father rather than with my brother. I just am open with him. But yeah, so it's all quite interesting, and like I really truly feel like after, um, so during that whole scene, like that moment of seeing my grandpa, I was like, I didn't understand, and that's when everything kind of fell apart. But after I got back with, after I like lived with my brother, I was like, I met these really lovely people at a local Catholic store. Um, they later became my friends. They are older ladies. I say that like it's a bad thing. I just like I'm 25. Like they're in their 70s or 60s. And then they're eventually gonna pass away, which everyone's gonna die eventually. But it's just the point that like these ladies really took me under their wing because they had this little place, like this little corner of the store that was called Grace in Your Corner. Maybe that's why Grace got her name. I don't know. But so Grace in Your Corner was just a place where you could go chit chat and just have like just unload whatever you were feeling. And that's what I did. And a lot of the times I would bring my computer there and just work on books. And it was my comfort place. And if I didn't show up to that store, they would worry about me, especially if I didn't show up for multiple days. They'd be like, "Where is she?" They didn't have my number, but they were like, "Maybe we should go check on her," and then the next day I'd come in. Um, and like I said, those ladies were so, so influential in my life. I love them dearly. And without them, I probably wouldn't have gotten back into my faith. And they truly, like, inspired me. And that was back in 2022, probably. And then as time progressed, I just grew deeper and deeper in my faith. Um, yeah, I think that's a good background information. Like, um, yeah, I just like my faith originally was pretty strong, fell off, came back to it after I discovered more about myself. And now here I am in 2025, going into 2026, being like, I am fully dedicated to my Catholic faith. Not only because I have a pen name who is writing Christian fiction books, but also because I like I've always believed in God. Like even when I was having my rough time, I would still pray to him every night, being like, "Thank you for today" and stuff. So it's not like God, like I wasn't, like I didn't still believe in him. It was just I like part of me wanted to give up on the faith, but I always knew I was still there. So yeah, so like in 2026, I really want to not necessarily kickstart because I feel like I kickstarted it this year, but really enforce the habits that I want to enforce in 2026. So let's get into some of those habits and things that I'm wanting to do for 2026. So some goals for 2026, and some stuff that we've been doing recently. So before, like back in, I would say October, September, October timeframe, we were really getting into praying the rosary. And we actually have several rosaries that we actually have around the house. We have this one, which has gray beads. We have one that is a string one, like not string necessarily, but like it's tied up. Well, it's tied up string. That has the same number of beads and stuff as a rosary. And we also have one in our car, and we like to pray these like we used to pray all these rosaries like 4 times a day. We fell off that after what happened? I think it was after our appendix surgery. Yeah, after our appendix surgery, we fell off. Tried to get back into it, then we fell off even harder. But really, like, we want to get back into praying the rosary at least 2 times a day. But like as time progresses, we would like to get back up to doing 4 times a day. Right now, we are at least doing one. And we would like this one time that we do it is after we supper, we come upstairs, we pray the rosary, we journal a little bit, we maybe watch a Catholic video and stuff, maybe listen to some gospel music. But we would like to keep doing that and like having that set hour of time strictly be our religion based things, which that is great. Like we've been doing that. But we would like to add on a couple more days to it and maybe making the time last longer. So, not okay with the like going up to 4 rosaries a day. We're not planning on having like each rosary session be the same session, if that makes sense. So, like the supper time one, we would sit down with our rosary. We would then journal in a notebook. These are just notebooks that we got from Walmart. Maybe take some notes on different videos that we watch on the Catholic faith. Basically do that kind of stuff. But we also want to have a like morning session where we pray the Bible. We'll listen to the Bible in your podcast. This is currently the Bible we have. It is a Catholic children's Bible. It's like Bibles I feel like are traditional. But like not traditional, but like all Bibles somewhat work because they all tell the same story. But we're also like taking notes in the Bible. We would eventually like to get our own Bible, like not own Bible, but like get a more adulty Bible and really like journal in moments of notes, like note taking in different like chapters, like this verse really meant something to us, but so we would like to have a time where we are dedicating to the Bible in a year. We want to have time where we dedicate it to just like being grateful, being thankful, being maybe praying for a few things, having those times. But then another time, which this is going to probably be more of like, well, there's going to be aspects of, so I have a stack of books here that are all different kinds of like different types of religionally based stuff. There's like a little booklet of Psalms. This one has like asking for God's protection and stuff and having a few Psalms that you could read and stuff. I'm pretty sure these are all Psalms, yeah. Then we have this one, which we're currently reading. This one, like, devotionals for 25 days worth of Christmas. We are reading it, and we're like, okay, how can we take this into our life? Then there's a total consecration to the Immaculate. We did this year. I don't know if we'll do it again next year, but this has been really influential because, like, we want to become closer to Mary. We actually wear a miraculous medal of Mary, because Mary is someone who's very important to our life. She's actually our Catholic saint, confirmation saint. And at first I was like, oh, I just picked her because she's like the first one about, and like, I had to write a letter and be like, oh, this is why and why is stuff, like why I chose her. But at the same point, like, I realized like there's like Mary's chose me in that aspect. But yeah, so there's a total consecration to the Immaculate. There's also a little book that I want to read about purgatory, the Amazing Secrets of Purgatory. I think I tried to read this, didn't really read it. I was just skimming through the words back whenever I was not really in the faith. Then one of my friends from the Catholic store gave me this book, Jesus Today. I read a few of them. I never really truly understood what it was talking about, so I want to get back into doing that. Then there's this one that I'm currently reading. This is a personal, like someone's personal story through the Catholic faith. And I'm taking notes and being like, okay, this is how they, like, this influenced their life. Because I would eventually like to, get to the point where, like, I'm able to write about my Catholic faith, do, like, a little nonfiction work about it, and also do, like, other people's Catholic stories and stuff. Because I find it super fascinating and super interesting to just get to know how they fell in love with God. But yeah, so, like, I don't know how to put this, but, like, I'm really wanting to really get back into my faith. And every day, not every day I want to add something new, but, like, for the first month of, for January, my game plan is to keep praying the rosary after lunch, after supper. Then on top of that, in the mornings after I get up after I wake up, have them, like, listen to the Bible in a Year podcast for X day and journal about it and really sit and think of it. But also while I'm doing the Bible in a Year, like, before I do it, pray a rosary. Like, pray one of the mysteries, sit and think about it, then in supper do my journaling. And then then eventually I would like to have a nighttime prayer where, like, before I go to bed, I would pray a rosary at night. Like, pray a rosary to go to bed. But also, during that, like, evening hours where I'm not doing much, like, praying a little bit, not praying, but reading a little bit of one of these books and thinking and contemplating stuff. And then I would eventually like to have I pray a rosary before I start writing. Which all would be that's kind of my, like, ideal setup of how things would work. And yeah, that's kind of, like, what I'm wanting to do. And I honestly think I will be able to get back into it. Well, not get back into it, but I think I will be able to follow through with this. Just because, like, I feel like since I've started writing the Grace books, it doesn't make sense for me to be, like, writing these books and not following what I believe, if that makes sense. Like, following what I write based on my religion, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know how to put this, but, like, I'm preaching this way of life to somebody, but I'm not following it. And sometimes I'm like, should I be having the same, like, enforced Bible Catholic belief in all my other books? But I'm like, I do have that essence. It's just with the Bugstopia world and with Maris's world, when they come out, like, they see the world as a whole. Not saying that Grace doesn't see it as a whole, but, like, Grace more specifically focuses on the Catholics, while Shelley and Maris look at the big picture. Not necessarily the big picture, but, like, see how everything kind of interconnects, if that makes sense. I don't know if this is making sense, but, like, it's just showing how it all comes around in a way. But yeah, that's kind of some stuff that we are planning on doing in 2026. We're wanting to read process some Catholic books. There's also a few Catholic books that we would like to buy. There is an author, her name is Alison Ramirez. I'm pretty sure that's her name. We watch her on YouTube. She has a devotional based on each mystery of the Rosary, and we would really like to buy each one of the books and really dissect the Rosary as a whole, like, say the joyful mysteries, and really dissect it and understand it. There's also one that we are wanting to pick up. It's called the Unbound. It's just called Unbound. It's a type of spiritual devotion. I guess that's what it's called. We would like to pick that up because our friend got us started on it. So there's just a lot of things that we're really wanting to do to kickstart our religion. Probably for 2026, we're just going to, so I'll just show you guys this. For 2026, our word of the year is blossom. And we would really like to truly blossom into the individual that we know we can be. And that base work starts with our spiritual life. So yeah, that's kind of all I got to say for today's video. If you enjoyed this, leave me a comment down below of your word of the year or phrase of the year. And I will see you guys next time. The next wrap-up video I should have is talking about my word counts and just writing goals and stuff like that for 2025 and 2026. So yeah, I hope you guys all have a lovely day, and I'll see you guys next time, okay? Bye!